No. So both Steve and Sephiroth have been revealed for Smash. Well, now what? And you might be wondering, oh, why didn't you do a Steve video, when it was actually relevant to do one? But let's just say I've had some stuff come up, and I honestly didn't think we were going to get another Smash character reveal by the end of the year, especially not at the Game Awards, and especially even the character dropping before the end of the year. So, yeah. So I guess you could say you get two characters in one video, and fortunately for me on the production end, the Steve portion is a lot shorter because there were like half the stuff I wrote about Steve became kind of irrelevant with the addition of Sephiroth. Now firstly, let's start with Steve. That's right, the character I am the most surprised at that the community has kind of taken in wholeheartedly, fully embracing. Like, not a lot of characters really get that sort of love and treatment. Even characters highly requested like Banjo don't get that. I didn't think Steve prior to his reveal was a bad character pick, but I thought that there was really only two methods you could go with him. One was to make him so like watered down and generic and such like a grab bag of different moves that he'll kind of feel like a Diet Game & Watch mixed with Link. Or the second option would be to do something so out there and so crazy that's more true to Minecraft that you couldn't really do it in Smash, and there'd be way too much effort to put in to make it worth it. How has character discussion changed in the Smash community since Steve has been included? Well, I think there's two primary things. The first one, and this is kind of a weak one, is that companies that previously had characters as DLC can have them again in another Fighter's Pass. Now, someone like me and many others really didn't think of this as like a strict rule and never really just stopped discussion for a lot of popular characters anyways. So this isn't really that strong of a factor. I always found it kind of odd when people would arbitrarily say, no, there's not going to be, a returning company in the Fighter's Pass 2. Because I see people request tons of characters from game developers that have already put their characters in Fighter's Pass 1 for more. But we do have to consider that Microsoft might be kind of a special case here, because in reading in his Famitsu columns, if you kind of read between the lines a little bit, Master Sakurai talking about working with Microsoft on Steve versus Banjo, he kind of almost doesn't see them as like the same company, that he's working with the same company, right? That Microsoft just kind of happens to be this giant umbrella that a bunch of game properties, that he's interested in working on for Smash just so happen to fall under. So that might be something to consider for future characters in the rest of Fighter's Pass 2, not including Bethesda, which negotiations for that would have happened long before the Microsoft buyout anyways. Now, the second biggest thing, and I actually think this is a really big bombshell that I think really changes up Smash character discussion a lot, is not necessarily Steve himself, but rather the negotiations that went into getting Steve in the first place. Now, after Steve got revealed, it came out on Twitter that one of the higher-ups at Mojang, the developer of Minecraft, sorry if I can't remember your name, who said this, but they said that this deal with Nintendo has been in the works for 5 years. Now, if you remember around the time of Base Game Ultimate's release, you might have remembered some rumors about Minecraft content being data mined from the game, or there's rumors of Steve coming to the game, and that didn't really pan out for like over a year, and so people dismissed it. And so that, I think, kind of gives a license to people to look into these rumors, because hey, if Nintendo's willing to negotiate with these companies for that long, what other rumors of characters have there been that didn't come true immediately that might come true in the future? So as much as I hate this, it means that the community is gonna keep re-obsessing over every rumor about a character that has come out since Smash 4 to now, which is kind of absurd to think about because there are a shitload of characters that are always rumored for Smash, and ones that pop up frequently and then disappear suddenly. That's right, that stupid Grand Blue rumor from the end of Base Ultimate into early DLC. Yep, people are gonna dig up that grave again. The stupid Tracer 4chan thing. Yep, people are gonna have to look into that again. Even characters like Ryu Hayabusa, who I would consider to have a more legitimate chance at getting into the game, like, who people really buried their chances with, like, by the time Fighters Pass 1 was over, well, people are gonna probably have to reevaluate a character like Hayabusa, again, based on this new criteria. Now, this kind of opens back up the can of worms of who was the most popular character in the Smash Battle discussion, because, again, Steve does seem like the kind of character that would have been an obviously popular pick in the poll, but nobody really seemed to consider until now. And if we look at the time frame of 5 years between when the ballot happened and when Steve got added, yeah, it makes sense. And a lot of people do kind of seem to think that the ballot choices stopped at Base Game Ultimate, that they got K. Rool and they got Ridley and they got the Belmonts, but, you know, DLC past that, they didn't really seem to think, you know, were picks from the ballot. They thought it was just things Sakurai wanted or things Nintendo wanted, but it's not going to make people really seriously have to debate about who were the most popular characters that would have been on the Smash ballot in 2015, and if that carries any weight into 2020 and 2021. So Steve is kind of insane in the sense that he watered down even more the already heavily competitive character discussion space. And oh boy, Sephiroth is just gonna slash that shit from sky high into a million even more pieces. Now, much like Steve, I didn't think that Sephiroth was kind of like a dumb pick. I thought he was a good pick. I just thought that the chances were really skewed against him because of, again, already a Final Fantasy inclusion and Square Enix really seeming more interested in wanting to represent more series rather than sort of go deeper on a one they already have in Smash. I mean, I thought Sephiroth would have been a logical pick for like a 5th or 6th Square Enix character, which obviously was probably never going to happen given the rate that Sakurai probably is burning himself out and working on Smash at this point. But I wasn't expecting it to be Square Enix's 3rd character. But like looking back on it, it's so like an obvious of a pick because Sephiroth is one of the most famous villains in all of video games. And I don't know if you noticed, there's not really a lot of villains on the roster. I'm surprised it took this long to get a villain in DLC. So what does Sephiroth change about Smash character discussion? Well, I don't think that Sephiroth's impact is particularly unique. And the reason why I say that is because we've already had a similar impact with Cloud 5 years ago on the discussion, and Sephiroth is doing the same thing again, albeit in different particular areas. Now, if you're like me and you were around during the days when Cloud was announced and being discussed afterwards, Cloud was a real game changer for Smash Brothers discussion. He really busted down a lot of doors and what people thought was possible. Because this was kind of the point in Smash where we had plenty of third-party characters, but a lot of them seemed to be like mostly Nintendo related, and people didn't really feel comfortable straying away from that. And so it wasn't quite as free, you know, any video game character like it is now. But Cloud really changed all that. I mean, to show you what Cloud and his successor characters have done to the character discussion, characters like Doomslayer and Master Chief are considered realistic picks now in Smash discussion, almost safe even. And so when I see Sephiroth's reveal, I'm reminded to Cloud and how Cloud kind of redefined what a deep-cut character was. And so for Sephiroth, yeah, within the fandom, he was a deep-cut character, but if you just look at, regardless of fan rules and popularity within the fandom, he was a logical pick. And so what Sephiroth teaches us is that maybe we should look back on these third-party franchises and look at the secondary characters and maybe sort of see, what might be there for interesting characters. Because there are a lot of secondary characters in a lot of these series that nobody really talks about. I mean, there were some like Tails and Dr. Eggman for Sonic, but they are very sparse and far between and had very little support. So I wouldn't be surprised if villains and secondary characters really start to rise in the ranks over the next coming months. So discussion will certainly be interesting over the next couple months. Man, Smash is weird sometimes. Like, outside of just the character picks, like the fact that we've got Steve and then the one-winged angel Sephiroth himself in that sequence is just strange to me. How many people called Steve in the first place? And then, of those people who called Steve, how many people would have called Sephiroth? Probably no one. So anyways, guys, that's it, and have a good day.